We got the Chevy Malibu that came into the garage, blowing warm air. We're gonna check the AC and found some pretty peculiar things. Got some tips for you guys that'll come in handy on this edition of Inside the Garage. Now, if you find that your vehicle is blowing warmer air from the vents, there's a good chance that the refrigerant is low. Now, you can buy a can and recharge it, but you gotta be really careful. Sometimes you're shooting in the dark as far as pressures are concerned. You really need to hook it up to this AC evacuate and recharge machine, and more importantly, get it into a deep vacuum so you can boil out the moisture in the system and get a nice healthy recharge so you've got a biting cold air from the vents. Now, in the case of this Chevy Malibu, we're not getting any voltage to that AC compressor, so even with a full charge, it is a problem. So let's dive into the system and find out what we're missing. Without getting overly complicated, I'm really trying to keep this simple for you guys. The second step to this, if you've ruled out that the system is fully charged with refrigerant, is the actual electrical check of the relays. Now, without any fancy tools, when you engage that AC compressor, you should be feeling that relay click. You can just simply get your finger on here and see if that relay is clicking. If you don't hear a click, you can swap that relay typically with the headlight relay. One more tip about relays: make sure that you don't disarm the fuel pump or any other vital relay that's going to keep the engine running, because if you swap that out, it will not start and you will be chasing your tail. If you find that you're not getting voltage to the relay, it's great to have a scan tool that you can command on and off the output controls from that AC head unit. This is really vital because you can kind of rule out whether you have an AC head unit that's bad. Remember, the AC head unit is going to receive that voltage and basically pass that on to the rest of the system in the engine bay. All right, if that AC control unit commands on and off properly, that control unit inside the dash is working as designed. I got a step here on this particular vehicle and something that you can check as well. Now, this is a Chevy Malibu, but we want to try and keep this as simple as possible. Now, the idea here on this third step is you really want to do a visual of all the connectors. Before you get into fancy wiring diagrams and voltmeters, you really want to get down into the engine bay and check all your connectors and check the wiring specifically. In the case of this Chevy Malibu, after removing the exhaust and really paying close attention to that wiring harness, we found a separated wire that goes right to the connector on that AC compressor. What we found is that there was a prior repair to the oil filter adapter gasket. It probably was leaking engine oil. When that repair was completed, they didn't lube the harness properly and they accidentally disconnected that wire. That's going to be a simple fix. However, the idea is you really want to try and find the shortcuts where you can, and that's why checking connections and checking visually all those wiring components is typically going to save your time and your day. So there you have it on the Chevy Malibu. Relatively easy fix. If you guys have any comments or questions, please chime in the comments. And also, please find me on Twitter at @YouAreMechanic, one word, if you got any questions about your car care. Hey, and for my fellow mechanics, if I missed anything, you know what to do. Chime in down on the comments. Appreciate you guys hanging out on this edition of Inside the Garage.